Hi, everybody. Welcome to Make More Money Now. This is the first show we've ever done. And over the course of the next several shows, what we're going to do is spend a lot of time teaching you and showing you different things that will work for you in the world of sales and marketing. It's a pretty mysterious, scary world out there. And I get this all the time from my clients. It's confusing. It can be distracting. So what we're going to try and do is present you with strategies that work. And my partner in crime today is Patti Pokorchak. Patti, take it over.
Hey, thanks, Gerry. So I'm Patti Pokorchak, the only one in the world, and my company is called the Small Biz Sales Coach. And as Gerry pointed out, is sales and marketing tend to be, well, time sucks and huge money sucks for entrepreneurs. And we aim to make it accessible, to teach you what you need to know, just the essentials, where I always say use more of this and less of this, because it's more the creative ideas that make you stand out. It's the words you use, it's how you approach. And my brand promise to you is to take you from sales fear to sales fun to sales success and results. And so Gerry, tell the viewers what you do.
Well, as you know, I've got a sales background, but about 15 years ago, I decided to really get into direct response copywriting and marketing. And my real mission in life is to help entrepreneurs and business owners generate more sales leads using strategies that have been proven where it matters most in the marketplace. So I have a sales background, I've got the writing background and the marketing background. I've worked with big companies like Siemens and Kenworth and Kimberly-Clark, but I really enjoy working with smaller companies that, you know, when you move the needle and help them make more money and grow their sales, I enjoy that a lot more. So now I focus 100% almost on small businesses and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so we share a common client base. Is I'm a born entrepreneur, how I put it. My dad was an entrepreneur, my brother, my sister, and I have been an entrepreneur for couple of decades. But I was not a born salesperson. And when I started this brand, the Small Biz Sales Coach, it made me realize that if I can learn to sell millions of dollars around the world in 2 languages, that anyone can learn to sell. I was lucky in that IBM forced me to learn to sell, and for that I'm eternally grateful. But deep down, I'm an introvert. Which is great because introverts love to listen and speak very little, and that's really what makes a great salesperson is the ability to really listen and speak as little as possible. And why Gerry and I make a great team is we both have the sales and marketing background. And because you really need to merge the two together in this day and age of social media marketing or social selling, I call it digital prospecting, because it's all about relationships. And that's what we're going to be talking about, how to relate to our clients on a human basis, and talking to them not in an artificial scripted way. We're not going to teach you any formulas that aren't coming from your heart and reflect your words and personality. I think that's key to the way we approach our businesses, right, Gerry?
Well, I think you're right. And people are people. And I think a lot of times as business owners and entrepreneurs, we often forget we are dealing with people. And excuse me, one of the areas I see this a lot is if you were to be face to face with a client in a potential selling situation, you would never walk in and just kind of list off all the things you do. Like we started in 1975 and we have 15 people. What you'd be doing is you'd be talking to the person and asking them questions. And you have a real advantage in those face-to-face situations because you can watch for body language. You can tell when you're talking to somebody if what you're saying is getting through or not. An interesting phenomenon I've noticed over the years is what happens is entrepreneurs and business owners have a really hard time transferring what they know and the emotion and passion about their business into their online marketing. So consequently, what happens is you come to the website and they go, I'm a personal coach. I have all these mastermind sessions. Here's what they cost. And of course, the prospect is bored to tears. You would never, ever do that face to face. So what I do is I show people how to bring their online marketing to life.
Right.
And so it really becomes an extension of, who they are, and includes the same passion.
And their personality too, because the reason entrepreneurs became their own business owners is because they have a burning desire to change the world in their own way, and they have a personality. They tend to have a strong personality, and rather than pushing it down is to bring it out, however, shape or form. And my coaching in the same way is to get people to talk normally. You bring up the questions, and when people say, well, tell me some tricks on how to close more business, it's like, no, 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 there's no tricks. There's techniques, but you got to start right up front, ask better questions. Really, my secret sauce, which is not so secret and definitely not rocket science, is to be curious and caring. That's what made me sell millions, or helped me sell millions, because I'm just extremely curious about the other person. And especially if you're a bit shy or introverted, it's like the more I look interested in you, Gerry, and ask you questions, is like they think I'm brilliant because I'm asking the right questions. And then
I think you're brilliant too for asking.
but it's just I'm just, oh, so tell me more about this, and tell me more about this, and how did that happen? And that's why you can't have scripts, because I might script my first or second question, but then your answers aren't in my script. So that's why improv training is so great for being actively listening, being in the moment, and then thinking quickly, that. And it's just the depth of the questions you ask is like, nobody cares about you as a salesperson until you show you care about them. And that,
And that is absolutely very true. And one of the ways you do that in your marketing, just tell a brief story from years ago. I used to work for a client. They were in the refrigerated building footprint, and what they were trying to do was build this new refrigerated building, and they sold that. So they, in their web copy, they wanted to let their prospects know that that's what they did and that's what they had available. So I wrote the copy for him, and on the homepage. And when he got it, he said, geez, I don't know if we can put this out there. And I said, how come? He says, well, it sounds like you're talking to one person.
oh,
And I made the point to him that that's exactly what you are doing, is you are talking to one person. It's not like somebody calls somebody up and say, hey, listen, Joe, you and Mary come on over Saturday night. We're all going to circle around and look at the so-and-so refrigerated building website. I mean, you are talking to one person. It's no different than if you were face to face. So when he read the copy, he said, it's very personal. I said, well, what do you think is the number one issue for your prospect, who was, let's just say, for instance, a project superintendent or something like that? He said, well, he says, I think that they'd want to make sure that they got good value. Yeah, that's important. That the project was complete on time. Yeah, that's important. But I said, here's the human side. And you always need to think of this when you're marketing your product or service. His number one thing that he's concerned with is that if he signs on the dotted line and hires you, that the project doesn't come back and blow up.
yeah.
He cares about him, and he cares about making sure that he's not the one responsible for bringing in a supplier that didn't do the job. So that's always the human side. There is the other side where the numbers have to be right and all of that, but you are selling to people, and that's not changed forever. I think we'd agree on that, Patti.
And you mentioned something earlier too, Gerry, where people aren't buying you for your job title, your certifications, that they actually, unlike mutual funds, is our past performance helping other entrepreneurs is a sure sign that we can help you. And it's about solving other people's problems. And as an example, Gerry and I, he's sort of the word nerd. I'm kind of the numbers nerd. Being in sales, it's all about the money that counts. And we're bashing around or brainstorming different names for this show, this podcast. And we finally went, what problem are we trying to solve? What do people really want? I know you don't really want a master's degree in marketing or sales, be a sales ninja. You just want to make more money now. So that we figured out that was the problem we're trying to solve for entrepreneurs, is like, we don't want to lose sight of the big problem, which is or goal, which is to make more money. And I guess that's our advice to the entrepreneurs out there, is that what's the problem you're trying to solve? Forget your certifications and everything. It's now taken for granted that you are qualified to do what you do. Between Gerry and I, with the words, either they're on the written page or on the website or through your mouth, is to convince people that you're the right person for the job for them. Okay, it's very, very high touch, very personal.
Great point. And also as an entrepreneur and a business owner, there's a phenomenon that's taken place. It took place 25 years ago, and we all are aware of it. The internet showed up. And where that makes a huge difference to you in your marketing and your selling is that 25 years ago, prospects actually had to call us up and find out more about what we did. They could get a brochure at a trade show, or maybe you could mail them something. I mean, direct mail's been around for a long, long time, but for the most part, they really had to struggle to get information about what you do. Well, today with the internet, I can assure you, when somebody calls you up or somebody visits your site, almost for sure they've seen 7 or 8 of your competitors. So they are already well aware of the thing or the service that they need, what they're interested in, and it's worth marking this down, because this is the number one question we as marketers have to answer today. Why, of all of the options available to me, including doing nothing, why should I pick you? And so when you think about that, like, they're arriving, you've got to enter the conversation with your marketing where they are in their head. That's the question they want to know. I get it that you sell shingles. Why should I buy yours? Right. And that's where you need to understand the value you offer and why people will pay you a premium for it. Once you know how to sell value, then you don't have to worry about the price quibbling.
A couple things there. My favorite word is value. To be hearing that from, because that's what people buy. They buy results and outcomes. It's the value to them. And the numbers nerd says it's actually, so the stats say 50 buyers that come to you, or potential buyers that come to you, are 56% through their buying journey. So you might have a sales process and you think you've got this pipeline funnel, sales funnel, but there's now a buying journey. And you got to, as Gerry says, you got to meet them where they're at. They are looking at you and 2 others. So why you, why now, and what's in it for me, and what makes you different, and why should I work with you?
That's a great point. And also too, one mistake I see a lot of marketers make is that they start too fast talking about themselves. And just as a little exercise out there, and you might want to take a look at your website, count the number of times on your homepage that you use the word we, our, and us, and then count the number of times that you use the word you and your. And you might be surprised to learn that you're talking about yourselves. And as Patti well knows, our favorite person and our favorite radio station, of course, is WIIFM. What's in it for me? They care about them. They don't care about you, as Patti mentioned earlier, until you show them that you're interested in what they want. And one way to do that is, I mentioned earlier about the importance of using emotion. You want to understand where your prospect is living and what their feelings are. And that shouldn't be hard, because you should have a fairly good understanding of who your ideal target prospect is. So once you know that, the first sale you have to make is that you get them. You want somebody that's reading your web copy to go, you know what? It's like they're reading my mind. That's exactly the problem I'm having. I'm so frustrated with this, frustrated with that. You want them in that state before you start talking about you, because then they will be receptive. They will feel the pain and the anxiety that they have when they're trying to solve this problem. Then they are receptive to what you want to do to give them an outcome that will help them.
Yeah, it's what was I going to say, is it's not enough to just to say, okay, this is who I am and my qualifications, but it just really is like, I understand your pain. Become the trusted advisor, is understand the industry that they're in, understand that how they're different from their competitors, perhaps, is do the research on them. I never talk to anybody without checking them out on LinkedIn, even if I don't connect with them immediately, but I just won't talk to anybody without going, I always say is don't Google or don't ask what you can Google, because that again shows that you haven't done your homework. And as Gerry was saying, the last 25 years, we have all the information a lot of information we need to start a conversation, an intelligent conversation that shows off our expertise. And that's really where we need to be, is that you have an issue, I solve these issues on a daily basis, so let's talk about what's the size of your pain, you know, you personally. And I think that is so key, is to talk to people. So you got to take the words again off the website and translate that into questions that go, okay, so how does this affect you personally, you know, and quantify that. But yeah, sales, you know, sales hasn't changed. As we keep saying, it's all about people, it's all about the relationship. But what has changed is the amount of information your potential buyer has about you and your competitors. Like, that's scary in a way, but it just makes it more competitive and a bit more challenging, and I think a lot more fun, because you don't have to keep reiterating, you know, and educating people, because they are educated, you know. So you're meeting them at a more advanced stage, and that's fun. Huh. Huh. Sometimes.
Well, it is fun, and it's fun seeing somebody go from they don't know who you are
Mhm.
to wanting to do business with you, and that there's a number of ways to do it. And I know a lot of our viewers, Patty, will have seen this. You see a lot of marketers that will offer a free guide or a free checklist on their
Mhm.
website. Well, that is done to address the number one challenge many marketers face today, and that's getting the attention of people, just getting them to stop what they're doing and actually spend a bit of time considering what you have to offer. Now, when I say offer, that free report or free checklist is almost always should be in the form of some type of education. Remember, your buyer is trying to make an educated buying system. They're not the experts. You are the experts. So if you create a free guide or a free checklist and offer it, what you're really doing is you're creating something. There's Patty's. There's Patty's. What you're really doing is creating. Hold that up, Patty, for a second.
It's my what I call a lead mag. 7 secrets for sales success for non-sales
Absolutely.
professionals. Yeah.
So lead magnet, free guide, anything you can do to get the attention of somebody that says, "Hey, I may want. That's something I can use."
Not just their attention, their email.
Yes.
Because what's important is, again, the stats nerd, is 1 out of 20 people are ready to buy right now, like today, basically, or so there's some sense of urgency, or this week. But the other, that means 19 out of 20 need to be nurtured. And that's why capturing their email to stay in touch, because email marketing, we'll probably have a whole few shows on email marketing, because I still am huge believer, because my bank account shows me that email marketing is key to success. And that's why you want to do something to grab them, because you want to keep nurturing that lead and keep educating them and starting that relationship, you know?
Yeah, and think of it this way. Um, if you spend time, energy, and money getting somebody to visit your website or read your email, whatever it happens to be, if you spend time trying to attract your ideal prospects and you do not have a way to recontact them to keep marketing to them, you are basically setting them up to buy from your competitor. Because what will happen is the statistics will show that over time, they will buy, but they won't buy from you. It's not like they're going, boy, when's the last time you checked a bookmark? If you bookmark the site, I mean, we never do it.
Yeah.
And yet all of us have tons of bookmark sites. What really happens is once they do all of their visit 7 or 8 of your competitors and you, if they're not ready to buy, and like Patty was saying, many of them are not going to be ready to buy that day. Once they do all their homework, they just go back online. They pick somebody that comes up in the Google search, and then they say to them, "Hey, Patty, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this?" And of course, the person who did absolutely nothing to earn the even the opportunity to sell them says, "Yeah, we can," and they're away to the races, and
So
you end up with nothing.
what I was doing before is just throwing the money out the window there.
That's
This is just,
exactly right. So these are the strategies and
yeah.
and practices that work. These are people offer free content and lead magnets like Patty because they work. It gives you an opportunity to get their attention. And think of it, when you offer a free guide or a free report, you basically, it's as if you're sitting across the table from them and you've got their undivided attention because presumably they downloaded the report or the checklist to because they want to try and move along the buying path. And so you are in a position to be able to help them understand how you can add value in their lives. And you will make a lot more conversions when you do it that way instead of going, stop me when you see something you like, buy something I'm offering. I mean, that's just not effective today.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, Gerry, I think our time has come to close off the first show. We haven't actually talked too much of our background, but I think we've shown that, we care about entrepreneurs being successful in their markets through sales and marketing. When I became a farmer, I didn't know anything about farming, but I knew that sales and marketing was key. And that's when I realized that every entrepreneur has to know how to master how to sell and market their products and services. So I think until next time, we should leave them wanting more, and they can subscribe below on the YouTube channel and or on a podcast. So,
Sounds great. We'll look forward to seeing more of you as we roll through this.
and any questions, just put them in the comments, and we'll add that to future shows too. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.